Are you here yet? I'm looking right at the camera. I'm a little stoned. But I need to be this way, but I don't want to be this way, but I have to be this way in order to, um, you see, when you sort of, when I get stoned, I get a little nervous and I get a little anxiety. So I feel there's a tension in there. And I always ask myself, how can I get away with it? There's nothing wrong. And I say to myself, you got to play the part of how you feel and let your body go that way. Because there's nothing wrong. You're not going anywhere. My friend Al used to say, you're not going anywhere. If you are, I want to go with you because it'd be like magic. Now watch this. This is what I do. La 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 la. Try to find a subject, a letter, and just get into something and count something and find out when I'm counting it if I can use it somewhere else. Like here, for example. If you went 50 times 47, it'd be 2350, which would equal 73, which would count for Nibiru. And this is the time Moses was born. 21, 7 by 3, which is the dice cube, and 7 plus 3 is 10, which is the face of the dice cube. Because don't forget, there's always the center of the center that makes the completion of 10. I didn't say that right. Top left, bottom right, 5 and 5 make 10. You see, what's so great about building is there's something you always build, but you never try to build it. It just seems to happen that way. You finish building something, let's call that odd. And then when you finish building it, you put it into place, let's call what it does even. Because now it's done something. It must have separated something because you built it. Odds and evens. Empty space and used space. Let's call 2468. Who do we appreciate? We get more. 13579. Let's take it all away. Well, we can't take away 5 because that's the middle of every room. And it's also the center of the walls where they come together in opinion. Oh, no one has an opinion, right? And maybe there's no wall in the center, but it's just not a supporting wall. No supporting cast for the rest of the equipment. So where are we right now? So we go in here, we multiply anything by 47, okay? And because I do not have the calculator or the mind that can put all the groupments of 47 together, and then what we do is we either add them up in pairs, we multiply it 3 by 76, and then whatever we want to do, and we come up with numbers at the end over here. And then it's what we do over here with the single number digits, or keep them in double digits. And what do we have to do to make sure we do all the equations possible to keep it in double digits and not in 3 digits, okay? And over here, we have 2350. Then we go 30 times 47. We have 1410, or October 14th, or the 4th of October, right over here. 1410 and 2350 is 3760. That's the time that one of the calendars, the Hebrew calendar, took a switch, sometime where Christ was born right here. Then we go 8. So we have 88 times 47. We have 4136. 41, go on Monopoly. We get the short lines, and then we go to jail on the next corner. 3641 is 77. In order to get 77, it's pretty easy. You go from the first day of the week to the last day of the week. Does that mean you got 7 days? No, you just have 7 positions. See the centered, this one? It's the only one that is centered. No other 7. Okay, they're all duplicated. 2's on the corners, all on the corners. 4, 3, 2 corners taken. Only this one is not. So anyways, I really don't think there's 7 days a week. Something's really screwed up somewhere. Maybe I'm not saying the same thing, but those numbers, they actually talk for themselves. So now you know, once we get to the total amount, in order to get to 2015, I have to turn this around, and we get to 43 times 47. 43 times 47 equals 2021. 20 and 21 is 41. And we have the 41 here where we started from. You only can get one from the other. Would be short line rail. So maybe we start up on short line. I'm not sure. I have to figure out the Monopoly game. I just know it's in there. It's in there. Another thing about 47 is that 3 times 47 is a 1-for-1 exchange. I had that license plate. It's an exchange, 1 for 1. You get 4 odds for 4 evens and 1 in the center. You have 1 in the center for 4, and you have 1 center for 4 for one center, which would say, where's my dice? See, 1, 2, 3, 4. You would have 1 center for those 4, and then look, 1, 2, 3, 4. You'd have 1 center for those 4. These 4. I don't have it all patchy. I'm a little spotty today. So I just multiply anything by 47, and you're going to come to always close to something. You get 18, is it 1880? 1780, 40 times 47. Instead of 1776, 1771, and 1789, which ends in 1793. And this is what it took in order to play with the numbers long enough to bring it from the Tea Party over to George Washington's first service as president, in which, why did we have a president? The people could have said, okay, let's go vote. All you need to do is set up a bunch of people to work, let's go vote, and then you implicate things. The minute you say we the people and sign over a government, why do we need a government? We don't need a government. We need associations, groups, over and over and over. But then you'd say, well, how can we fix our roads? Well, there would be certain things that have to be permanent. Okay, they can really never change. But anyways, let's not get onto there. Let's get on to the 0 and the double 0. When you go to roulette, you want to play a single 0. So what would the single 0 count? It would count for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. The double 0 would count for 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900. But it's actually, okay, if you have the single 0, wouldn't you say you're counting from 1 to 9? And because you can take away all the numbers and just put a 0 there, just saying there's a position. And then if there's the double 0, I mean, like 100, I mean, just because the 1 is there, it doesn't mean there's no 0. Shouldn't it be 3 zeros and you count the 999? Or is it obligation to have a 1 in the front, leaving it as the double 0? Otherwise, if you cannot use the 1, then to put them all together, you would then jump to 1,000, which would be 3 zeros and 1 number in the front that does all the talking, the movement, and the walking, because the letter M talks about that. But if you look at the letter M, we can go to the letter X, the way the X has to have the line above it. The Mayans do that in their math. They count it as 1. Or how about this? This line above it. This is the 10th letter. Oh, but this is the 10th Roman numeral, but this is the 10th letter. And this is the line above it. This is 10,000. Where am I going with this? Onto this side. You see these little eyelets? Imagine I put a hook in it. Now I can connect this island to that island. Like they did over here. Look, we connected too. See what I was talking about, zeros and double zeros? What's the answer to double 0? The answer to double 0 is one of the answers. Look, 324. 0 and 0 is 15th letter, 1 and 5 is 6. 0 and 0 is 15th letter, 1 and 5 is 6. 6 times 6 is 36. 36 times 9 of 900 equals to 270 and 54. 324, back in the jailhouse rock. Can't be on the other side of the walls, of course not. You always have to be under 6, because the gate to come in was 7. You were the 9th gate coming into the 8th world. You were the 9th creation under the world of the 7th gate in the 8th world, coming in as the 6th man or woman. X or X, X and Y. Why? Because Y is the 7th gate, 25th letter, 2 and 5 is 7, unless you count sometimes Y and after. So we had this over here. We did the double 0 here. We can also count it as 30. 9 times 30 is 270 because it's 15. 15 and 15 is 30. 9 by 30 is 270. Then what do you want to do with the 70? 7,200? What do you want to go? 7 by 2 is 14n. 7 plus 2 is 9i. Now you're in. Those are the letters. Phrase 23. Now it's win. When you're in. Of course we can play with it. Isn't this what it's all about? How about the horseshoes? Which way do you want to have handle the horseshoes? Isn't this the swastika? But it's a bunch of horseshoes. What are we building? What are we looking for? What is the question? Number 47. Well, we can double it up to 74, and that would be the center of the average of the numbers of, you see number 74, when you add up all the numbers in the center of the 5 position, which would be E5, which would be 14N, which would be 23W, WEN, the center, as 5, 14, 23, 32 equals to 74, 5 position. 74 says Jesus. 74 says the cross. If you want to see something, what's funny about the cross is that in numbers, right? When you go Jesus God and blank, why do you say and blank? Because this is the cross. Because there's something added to it. You're never alone. Somehow we're hooked to a cross, a different kind of cross. One that gives us the opportunity to have the opportunity, which would be from the Spirit God, the creation. Regardless of what we breathe through our nose, through the lungs, we're hanging upside down because of the element. Do you think the flies are upside down? So we did that number 47, and this year we would be, from my birth, this in 2000, I think 14, I think that's the year, my birth is going to be in between 47 by 26 and 21, which means I'll be in an in-between year. Okay, but, or it depends. Starting at the time of 5,000 years ago, I'm falling in the year of 26, which is funny because it's a universal sub-question what a human, what's it called, is. He's number 6226, which is 10 to 10 time, which is a period of time and can be used for other things. Anyways, what is left over is 21, and it's perfect because when you add this 1 to 6, it equals 21. Can we connect two islands together? The eyelids, connecting of 2. The connecting of the x over this face of the calculator leaves you in an equation at the end. We did the zeros and the double zeros, and we can go on and on and on. We talk about the bridges and the bridges of the nose. At the same time, we're trying to figure out how do we rise the pyramid stones to the top. How do they rise to the top? Were they built in the water, making it easier? That would be pretty stupid. Anyways, you never know, but I'm going to tell you right now that what happens, okay, I believe, is either A, there's a belt, B, there can be a windmill, C, there can be the center. Imagine the center of a calculator. Imagine you have you have to go to number 7 and you're sitting on number 3. So you raise the 3 up to number 9, the 7 would go to 1. They would slide a brick on it. There would be a cutout in the floor, so it would go flush to the floor. They'd slide the brick over it. And then, depending on how they want to do it, there's many bunch of ways to turn the wheel to get that arm to go back the other way. Why I say that is because the 6 and the 1, which are opposite of each other, on the calculator, the 6 is on the second level to the right, while the 1 is below it to the left, not moving up 3 levels at a time, which would move 1 all the way to 9. It moves 1 all the way to 6. Just like when you make a wager in roulette, you're going to wager on box 13, 14, 16, and 17 because that's the only 4 you can possibly get. You cannot get all 3 rows with a dice unless you're betting the whole section all the way up to the top. Roulette is giving us the key of what we could and what we can't do when we're creating something other than just trying to put numbers together. It's giving us a focus. So that's why 1 would go to 9, and we'd raise the brick up, and then the teeth would go into the next floor and the next floor, and so on and so forth until they raise it to the top. Is this possible? You know what? I've never taken a look at one yet, but there's whatever we can do today and more, because we didn't have to, you know what? You always have to build as if it's broken already, falling apart. Somebody's underneath that's going to get hurt. So you've got to take all the precautions. Okay, if it breaks, it'll do this, 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 and this. Let's do this. And you've got to go all the way to the top. Isn't it great when you've checked every single element out? Or you want to rush through it, go to the next job, then you're not learning. You're not teaching yourself to learn. And it's so great just to teach yourself to think, what if, what if, and there's a reason of what if, because what if it does happen, it could happen. And then the last one of the what ifs is like this. Everybody gets a card before they go on. The danger of this is A, B, C, D. I mean, just like the medication you take. If you take this, your dick won't stand up for 6 months. And if you continue taking it, just continue on keeping it down forever. Thank you to the medication, my friends. Oh, it's hot in here. I wonder what I can see. The other thing I was thinking about was white. I don't know. What is white? Something about white that's not real. Something that they want us to see in white because something in this world really shouldn't be white that is white. And we're living in a false colored world because white is maybe a missing space, or black is because it's a deep space, or why do we have the shadow? What? Wow! Add a little yellow to my door. Ooh, it's so exciting. Welcome, the elections are coming next year. I am not talking for whoever this is. This seems to be like he's a good man, but if you read it, I could do the same doo-doo in the bathroom. Oh. Anyways, it's good to get out of the house once in a while, right? Since I am doing that, I talked about free space, connect the electricity, and the houses live in between, if you want to look at it that way. I'm still, after 8 years, I'm still not sure which way to look at it. W. You know what's funny about W? I mean, I don't know many words that start with double O. I mean, with one O. I mean, what's funny about the W is that the U is the 21st letter. If you put the birth with it as 9, it becomes 30, it becomes 00. But W, same W, it's 42. 4 and 2 is 6. But a W is 23 is 5. But when you say the 6th letter F, you already say the 5th letter E. So you're saying E and F, and both of the words within the expression of the letter U, but the word and letter is W. 5 and 6 is 11, 1 and 1 is 2. There's so many things to put together. I was building this, and then I got the anvil or whatever between two, so I decided to put the sword, and I end up with like the butt of a ass, if you want to look at it, or whatever you want to say. So everything comes into its own. And then this is my pie. I took out the middle of the pie. I didn't want to ruin the pie. I took out the center. And then I cut the center in 4. So I got 4 on the outside. I took out the square in the center and cut 4 on the inside. Now I got 8. But where's the 1? Why? Because it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 on the outside. So I cut the pie and I get 4. And I ate the 1 in the middle and I cut it in 4 and I get 8. Now where's the 1? Raphael 7286 in the constellation of Pegasus. The angels, may they be with us all. Thank you.